Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Let's see. I'm going to say hi to everybody first. Happy Monday or Tuesday to some of you. Um, one second. Hi, Becky, Kathleen, Valentina, Pink Crystal, Monimu, Happy Stan, Carol, Chris, Cuba. Oh, I thought you're from Cuba, Carol. Anne, Celeste, Marie, Leah, Darren, Namhar, Tangela, Tracy, Bang Luna. Oh, suddenly there's a lot of people. HHK, Leah, Tracy, Tisa, Claudia, Roses, Flowy, TLT, Melanie, Darren, Crystal, Robin, Sylvia, Me Too, Baby Chow Gaming, Baby Chow Gaming, and Angel Star, Sylvia, Dodger Girl, Future's Gonna Be Okay. Hi, Helena, Lori, DK, BTS Forever 7. How is everybody? Hi. I'm sure that you've all read the message of J Hope already, right? That he left on Weverse. Are you all excited on what he has in store for us? Magandang hapon, Mary Grace, Diana, Katie, Kez, Angel Star. I'm so excited. I do feel like he's gonna do, I don't know, like, I want to, of course, I'm trying to manifest for a tour. I hope that he does several shows, at the very least, several shows in the US, but I'm just hoping for a tour. So, um, can't wait for his activities. I know I also can't wait. I hope that it happens soon. I do feel like there will be some delays because of what happened in South Korea, what is happening in South Korea. So they might be delaying it because of that. I think many are trying to wait for things to sort of settle before they do anything, for understandable reasons. Even Yunjin of Les Seraphim, she's supposed to release a single, and she hasn't done that because I'm guessing it's because they're trying to weigh things out, and I mean, who can blame them? So I think they are putting everything on hold just because they want to wait until things settle. So that might happen. Halina, hi from Florida. So unfortunately, I feel like by this time they should already be announcing something. But as I've said, I think they're putting it on hold just because they want to feel things out first. I don't think that people, I mean, if you're like a small group, a small or a new K-pop group, I think they are going to forgive you if you do something, like if you release a major thing while this thing is happening in their country. But if you are a big one, there's so much more expectation. And of course, they're probably looking for ways on how to take BTS down or criticize J Hope or whatever. And if he releases something while it's happening in the country, there's a big possibility that they're going to be criticized. So that's just a gut feel. I don't know them. I have absolutely no connection with them. So belated for our bear. I know we for our bear, we weren't even able to properly celebrate it, or at least it wasn't as big as it should have been. Um, I I mean, Big Hit was supposed to post a lot of stuff they usually do, and they didn't because of what's happening in their country. So, good afternoon from Alabang. Hello, Kathleen. You talking about the president thing or the plane tragedy? First the plane tragedy and then the president thing. So both things. For the plane tragedy, they still haven't released a formal statement as to what happened. So they definitely are going to be. They have to release it soon. They have to release the investigation soon. Of course, South Koreans are waiting for an answer. And then the president thing, they still haven't. I believe the a warrant of arrest is expiring in 2 days. Hi, Han. Cindy, Curie, My P, Me Too, Kathleen Lemus, Joyce, DK, BTS Forever 7. So yeah, I think the warrant of arrest is expiring in 2 days. So they have to be able to serve that. Although the CIO they said is going to actually ask for an extension. So they might get like a 2 day extension, but they have to implement, they have to arrest the president, the former president. The talk is that he barricaded himself inside his home. He has supplies, he has like water, food, ramen, and all of those stuff just to make sure that he can sustain himself for several days. And he wants to do anything and everything to not get arrested. So yes, they are trying to extend the warrant, but if they get an extension, I doubt that they are going to extend it for like months. It will be days. Martial law on Jin's birthday and the plane crash on V. I know. I mean, I can't believe they can. So what the my friend explained it to me a little because I was like, if it's in the US, they would have been able to arrest him. That's not a question. Like you can hide 75 feet below the ground, they'll find you and they will arrest you. So it was very strange for me that they couldn't arrest him when he's just inside the house. So it's not like he went somewhere. He was inside his house. And then my friend explained to me, of course, in South Korea, guns are illegal, right? So people are not used to hearing gunshots or having guns around because that's illegal in their country. So they were trying to avoid to for that thing to get into a gunfight. They don't want anybody shooting their guns or whatever. Now, there's a huge if they had they pushed, there's a huge possibility it would have happened because the ones that are guarding the president, they're the military. They're not the police, they're not special service, they're not whatever. They're the military. And usually they send the elite force, the military police, to guard the president. So these are well trained officers, um, and they don't want it to get to that point where people will be shooting whoever. So that is the reason they chose to go back instead of push forward. Now, I said in the last live that there is, if so, the president, while sorry, the impeached president, while he was the president, actually reassigned or changed who was going to guard the president. So he made it the military instead of the police or a special service. And that means the entire military is actually guarding him. So they don't have a military, basically. So what are you going to do if you don't have, if you're a country and you don't have a military? You need military. I mean, that's just basic. You need the military. So I said maybe one of the possibilities that they will ask help from the US. We do have a base in the US. We still have a base there. So we're still very much present. We've been a long-term partner of South Korea, we meaning US. So there's that possibility. Of course, it is a domestic. Some people were like, it's a domestic thing. They were gonna, well, how many times has the US been into a domestic dispute in other countries? But that's just, I don't know what they're going to do. So, but I hope that they resolve it so that things will go back to normal. So I know that have you seen the new boy band of JYP, the one who does like skateboards, Flip something? Have you seen them? And if you have, did you like it? Why is he still being protected by the military? When he was the president, he changed it. He assigned the military to be protecting the president. And so when they couldn't go in, the CIO actually said that they were going to call in the head of the National Defense Secretary, to not the National Defense Secretary, the Chief of Staff, to ask him who they are reporting to, because he's not the president anymore. So why are you guarding him? That is the major question that they have. You shouldn't be guarding him because they're not the he's not the president anymore. Yes, kickflip. Did you like it? I loved it. I'm so ready for their debut. Um, I watch them, but not really your thing. He's no longer the president. He is no longer the president, correct? But he isn't. Well, that is why they're going to call the chief of staff, because they're also wondering the same thing. Why are you guarding him? He's not the president anymore. There are some technicalities here. There are some people who are saying that he's actually still the president until you're actually confirmed that he's not the president anymore. He's still the president, although he has already been impeached. They already had a sitting, like a temporary president, a sitting president, a temporary president who they already also impeached. But Ashley said this is in reference to Kickflip. Don't know if I like it yet. Not sure how they are going to distinguish themselves from the group JYP debuted last year. Just with the skateboard. I haven't actually seen the music video, but um many of the people that have like messaged me on X, they all said like, oh, it's a little different from others. I don't know if they find it is different because it's it's different because they're using skateboards, or it's different because the music is different. That I don't know. I haven't watched it. Soul said politics are complicated and dumb at the same time. They are true. True, true, true. The other news is that Jimin is most likely going to end up inside the top 25 Billboard Hot 100, and the song was released 6 months ago. No promotion. Jimin is just bringing it. So we need to help him. Please, please, please continue streaming, especially if you're in the US. Please continue streaming. Go and stream through premium services like Apple, Amazon Music, YouTube Music. Please stream. Please. So if he does end up inside Billboard Hot 100 top 25, or inside Billboard Hot 100 top 50, this will be his 23rd week. I'm very, very excited because that means 2 more weeks and he would tie another record. And that he would be tying, I don't want to jinx it. That's why I've never mentioned it, because I don't like jinx. I don't want to jinx it. So I'm just not going to mention. So, but let's try to like push for him. Okay. Um, okay. All right. So let's talk about something light for now. Um, let's talk about the best moment in life. So I think this is going to be a major celebration for them. This is the Hi the Bio Explorer. More news that today the mediation hearing of MHJ of Mama Roach and the employee who got sexually harassed by an Adore staff VP, ex VP, is now going to court. Yes, so they did not reach an agreement. So just a clarification, the court sending it to mediation is just a standard thing because they want to try and resolve everything without going to court, because that's more like convenient for people and just easier. But it was kind of expected for both parties to decline to actually resolve anything in mediation. So that the outcome was expected. That was something expected. Neither party was actually there. It was just their lawyers. Pink Crystal, Mama Roach will never admit to her mistakes. Of course. Okay, so let's talk about the most beautiful moment in life, because as you know, that's one of the major things that people have been mentioning. Big Hit has been mentioning, and even BTS has actually mentioned before that they want to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the most beautiful moment in life, the magnum opus of Suga. Now, a lot of and this is one of the most beloved narrative of BTS. But I feel like many credit the era, the most beautiful moment in life, they credit it with the success of BTS. They all say that this is where the success of BTS began. And I agree, but not many are actually talking about how the most beautiful moment in life actually started the transition of K-pop from domestic to international recognition. Okay. And there are 10 ways on how the most beautiful moment in life actually did that. So let's discuss that. First, start with something positive. Okay. I hope that you're seeing my screen. Katarina. Hi. Aisha. Okay, let me know if you're seeing my screen already. Yes. Okay. So the very first thing, the thing that probably the most important thing creatively that they did in the most beautiful moment in life was transitioning from youthful rebellion to complex storytelling, which actually mirrored complex human experience. If you remember in the book, Beyond the BTS, Beyond the Story, they mentioned that prior to the most beautiful moment in life, they had like an up, down, up, down, up, down experience in their releases. It would be good, and then it's going to be bad, and then good again, and bad again. And I don't think so that's one. They mentioned that. And then they just suddenly became, from when they released the most beautiful moment in life, everything became consistent, and the trajectory actually went up consistently. But also to note, not that they were selling bad when they released the school trilogy. They weren't selling bad. It's just that it wasn't anything outstanding. That's one. And it wasn't anything that would put them on track to recover the financial losses that they were experiencing, that the company was experiencing. Okay, so just to clarify, it wasn't bad. It's just that it wasn't what you would have expected from a band like BTS. And I think it was primarily because of the concept. The group, the lyricism, the beats, the melodies are great. It's just that the theme itself isn't something that resonates to a great majority. When they transitioned to, because remember, in Asia it's all about responsibilities, right? When you're young, that is the thing that you are concentrating on, and that is the value that your parents are trying to instill on you. Responsibility. So the youthful rebellion, yeah, we have it inside us, but it's not something that we're willing to actually outwardly admit. When they transition to something soft in the most beautiful moment in life, they transitioned into something more familiar and more relatable to us. So this is the very first music video that they released, No More Dream. This is the second one, No. So everything in here, they're so heavy. And then they went to Danger. So, but when they did the most beautiful moment in life, it they transition from just talking about themselves. They transition from being just angry to someone that's being introspective, right? So it was more about tracking what we all experience as humans, instead of forcing the public to do something that is not natural for their market. So they were still saying the same thing. It was still about rebellion. It was still about the difficulties of being young. They were simply not doing it. They simply changed the tone from something strong to something soft. So it from that was a major transition in terms of storytelling for BTS, and it was also a major revelation in terms of storytelling for all other K-pop groups that came after them. And we will touch on that later. Okay. So next thing is that the audience, through the most beautiful moment in life, the audience became a part of the lore. I don't know if you're familiar with the term UGC, user generated content, but that was a big thing when Facebook, Twitter, when they were all starting out. It was all about generating content from the public. And that's what BTS was able to do effortlessly. They invited the fans or the market to actually become a part of the lore, because we were decoding the lyrics, decoding the music videos, looking for clues, trying to understand what the story was. And it wasn't like uh, a an isolated experience. The community was coming together because we were trying to help each other out in trying to decode and understand the story. So we saw a lot of the things that, um, a lot of this theory websites, a lot of fans would actually create communities or use their social media um, in order to participate in the discussion in decoding the lyrics of and the story of the music videos and the music. So there were thousands and thousands. So imagine you're transforming your audience into your marketing person. They are becoming your brand ambassador, because it's your audience that's attracting other audience to come together to talk about the product that you're selling or the story that you're talking about. So that was a major change in terms of marketing in K-pop. It used to be that the audience was just a cash cow, that the fans were just a cash cow. They will buy anything that you tell them to buy, fight for you and whatever. But with BTS, the fans became a part of the lore and the story that they were talking about. So these are some of the websites that were actually that became very popular during the most beautiful moment in life era. And from the most beautiful moment in life, every other era they would create a new community or a new section on their website to talk about the new story that they are now following. Okay. um some of them are still there, so you can check them out. The third thing is the 360 storytelling. So if you go back before BTS, it's not that music videos didn't have any stories. There were some music videos that had some sort of a story, but what BTS did was actually do a 360, meaning everything that they were doing was contributing to this one narrative that they were talking about. So of course you have the music. So that's one way they're telling the story, but it is incomplete. For you to complete what the story that they are talking about, you need to watch their music videos. So that's another one. But that would still be incomplete. So you need to look at other materials that they were releasing, including the notes, for example. And then they also have a manhwa or a comic book. And so, in all of this, for you, if you follow all of this, understood all of this, then you will have a better idea on what story they are telling. Of course, they also released a short film. They called it the highlight reel, but it's actually a short film. Who remembers this specific scene? A lot of people went wild when they saw Jimin. Okay, so if you haven't seen the highlight reel, please search it on YouTube. If you are a new army and you don't know what's happening here, just let me know and I will try to explain to you. But it is actually a short film. They just call it the highlight reel. Hi, Sandy. So the highlight reel had several parts. So it as I've said, it is a short film. They just called it the highlight reel. Okay. The next one is that they are the very first group that actually made the creative material, also the marketing material. So if for any group, whatever it is that for any product, you have a product and that is yes, Tessa, it is still online. The highlight reel is still online. So if you're selling something, you have a product, right? So you're selling your product. And then you have your marketing channels, you have your marketing materials, and those are the things that you use in order to sell the product that you're selling. So, and that still applies to celebrities or to movies. You have a movie, and then you create all this marketing materials, marketing channels, and marketing activities in order to invite people to watch your movie. The same way with music or concerts. So Beyonce is going to have a concert and then she will develop marketing materials to invite you to watch her concert. However, for BTS, whatever it is that they're putting out is the product and it's also the marketing material. So, for example, the song is what they're actually selling, the music, right? But in the music itself, because you're trying to decode the story, it becomes your marketing material. It becomes a way for other people to actually get enticed to buy and listen to the music because they're trying to decode your music. And the same thing is true with the diary or the notes, sorry, not the diary, the notes. The notes is supposed to be a supplement to the music videos and the songs itself for you to understand further the story that they're telling. But because they're selling it as well, it also becomes the product that they are selling. It is a brilliant product development strategy and a brilliant marketing development strategy because nothing is wasted. Anything that they put out is actually both a marketing channel and also the product itself that they are selling. The other thing that they changed with the most beautiful moment in life is the complex became pop. The one thing that if you would listen to many of the hits internationally, the key is to make something very, very simple, very, very stripped down, because people apparently are only capable of processing one information. So um, they try to make it simple. If it is a song, they try to make it simple so that more people can actually sing to it. The more people that can sing to it, the better chances you have of creating a hit. If the song is too difficult, then you're going to lose the interest of many people. In fact, a lot of people don't like jazz. One of the many reasons, not no, one of the few reasons that jazz is unpopular is because it's so hard to follow. Most of the time, it doesn't have lyrics. So you're like, okay, am I just gonna listen? Is there nothing that I can do in this genre? So in creating, when you want to create a hit, a pop hit, especially in the West, the one thing that you need to do is make it simple. Make the chord progression simple, make the lyrics simple, very repetitive, very familiar, and also easy to sing. If you are in marketing, you would hear the terminology single-minded proposition a lot. And the single-minded proposition is exactly that. Whatever message you're trying to say, it has to be very, very simple. And you can only say one message because our brains allegedly, well, it is confirmed that our brain is only able to process one information at a time. So if you want their full concentration, then you better just say one message. BTS went against the grain because they didn't just offer double entendre. They actually, their songs have bottomless depth. Sorry for the wrong spelling, but it's bottomless. Like there's so many meanings, there's so many layers and so many dimensions. I've done so many analysis in their songs, and it just every time you listen to it, there's something new that you can discover. So they didn't follow that general rule that you have to make things simple, you have to make things obvious and easy to understand, because many of the songs that they did were actually complex. There's so many meanings that you can get from it, and if you want to really appreciate and get the most out of the song, you have to make an effort to appreciate it, and it's even harder because it is not in English. um, Next is that they actually unlocked something very special and something that is unexpected, and that is the key to global music dominance is actually a universal story. A lot of people, I might get a lot of hate in this, but before BTS, many of the bands that became boy bands that became popular were actually really just copying Western style, specifically African American style. Okay, let me make it clear. It's expected and natural for people to get inspired by the things that they see, hear, listen to, and get exposed to. That is natural. But you do need to innovate, progress, and evolve a style or an idea. But the early groups in South Korea, they were downright copying the style. That's like no innovation at all. They were really just copying the style. And so, but they became very popular because it was so different at that time. So see, so Taiji and Boys is actually one of them. So they, if you look at the clothing that they were wearing and reference it against 80s or 90s streetwear in New York, you will see how they modeled it. Like there's absolutely no innovation. It was just a straight up copy. And even Big Bang, a lot of the style that, and they Yan Yun Suk was actually very open in some interviews that they were really just copying the West. Um, BTS did something very, very different. This concept of the most beautiful moment is in life has you've never seen this in a boy band before, and very rarely, if ever, will you see this in any other acts, regardless of the gender, regardless of the nature, and regardless of the country. It's not. It's not the cool kind of concept. It's not the hip kind of concept. It's so different. It's really so narrative based. Uh, it's a little bit European, a little bit of a fantasy, a little bit go back 30 years, something like that. But it's just they look so different from everything else that have been released. That's why they caught everyone's attention. This is the first time we're seeing a style like this from a boy band. So I always say that the style is kind of like if Stanley Kubrick and Lewis Carroll and Billy Wilder had a child. I don't know if you guys know these people, but Stanley Kubrick is the director of um, uh, Clockwork Orange. So that's one of the scenes. That's the main clothing that they wore in the movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, you do have to see it because it's one of the best in on time of all time. And this is Alice in Wonderland. Lewis Carroll is the one who created it, and then Billy Wilder is one of the best directors ever, who directed one of the best films ever, The Apartment. It's a comedy, a dramedy, I guess, a comedy and a drama movie. If you haven't seen it, come on, people, you have to see it because it's so beautiful. So I've always said, like, if this three had a child, it would be the most beautiful moment in life. That's because you've never seen anything like this. I can't even, there is no one word to describe it because I don't think it exists yet. Look at those. I mean, just look at the styling itself. That, like, I don't understand how they're able to tell one complete story in one picture. So that look at that styling. It's like, is it European? Is it fantasy? Is it 500 years ago? Like 30 years ago? I don't understand where this is from. But they're still very much relatable. So so that is one of the things that they did. Like they presented a concept, a look, and a sound that has never been seen before in any group, actually, and very rarely seen in any act. In fact, I've tried ever since I thought about doing this topic. I've been thinking of a reference, like any other act before them that used this concept, and I can't think of any. um, I can think of acts that have done a portion or a part of what they have done in the most beautiful moment in life, but never. But I can't find anybody that has done this exactly the exact same concept. Okay, and then the other thing is, so yeah, so they this concept is unseen for any international group, from New Edition to One Direction, from the Beatles to the Black Eyed Peas, from the Supremes to Destiny's Child. No one has executed this concept. I mean, this is one of the most popular music videos of Backstreet Boys. Very, very different look. And Sync, they're considered one of the revolutionaries in terms of styling in among boy bands. And this is TLC. They're actually my favorite girl group of all time. It's still different. Most of them bank on being cool, being hip, and I think that's largely inspired by um, street music, street sound, streetwear. Um, but BTS didn't bank on the image. They actually banked on their story. And I think that's why they resonated so much with their audience, because we were following the story. We weren't really following their styling, although that's great in itself, but it wasn't really about the image. It was really about the story. So I think there the things that we need to emphasize when we're talking about BTS and when we're talking about their impact. We need to emphasize how BTS actually managed to introduce all of these elements and influence future groups that came after them. Now, almost every group, or at least many of the groups, the music videos always have a story that their fans are actually trying to decode. There are clues that are connected to another music video. There are supplemental materials that other fans are looking forward to. And before them, there was nothing like that. It was just, okay, there's a music video and then there's a song. So you watch it and then you figure out what's happening. And then in the next song, we'll move on and do another story. But for them, it's not just an entire album following one story, it's actually an entire era, several albums following one story. And fans actually got hooked on that. We sort of that's what caught us. That's what caught the fans because we are following one story, and then from there, we many fans actually discovered many of their other songs. But yes, so let's continue emphasizing the quality and the changes and the revolutions they've actually put forward in the Korean entertainment industry, so that it's not just let's stop dealing with fan wars. That's not going to go anywhere. It's better, it's always way better if we just emphasize their impact, the quality of their music, and the changes that they have brought, and how they actually paved the way for other groups. Okay, let's look at some of the questions. Have you listened to Frank Zappa? Yes, I have. It's not something that I would like casually listen to, but if it's there, I don't mind. I don't mind it. I won't change the song. So it's not like something I would regularly crave to listen to. But yes, I've watched. Is that your favorite? Okay. From my marking and sales class, KISS, keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Student. So that's actually like a mantra among. Sorry with my tongue. So. Shh. So that's actually a mantra in almost anything in marketing, sales. Uh, we try to keep it really simple because, as I've said, people apparently are just capable of processing one information at a time. And so, if you want people to really digest what you're saying, you want to make one point and then spend the rest of your time strengthening or supporting the point that you're making for them to understand it better. The complexity is what makes it artistic and interesting. That's why they're so different. But then there are other groups nowadays that are actually trying to be complex. I guess the other thing is that the story is just beautiful. The story that they created is just beautiful. So because other groups are attempting the same thing, it's not clicking. And I think it's because you do need a great story and a beautiful story for people to actually follow, and great music, of course. So you can follow the formula, you can follow the marketing formula and the marketing um model that they use. But if you don't have the same quality of marketing materials and product itself, then it's not going to click. Bank PD is really a visionary, and BTS too, of course. Pink Chris, okay. All right. I'm looking for questions. I saw some questions. I'm looking for them so that I can answer them. That movie is crazy. Clockwork Orange. Yeah, it is crazy, but it is beautiful. So please watch it. Joy said Fairlane, that's very clever. The three of them having a kid. Lara said the most beautiful moment in life concept. Photos are beautiful. I've only seen parts of the Clockwork Orange. Crystal, you have to watch it in full. It's so good. It's really one of the best ever. Okay, let's look for questions. The style seems more 80s UK like punk. some it's a mixture. So yes, some of the style it seems like 80s UK, but then other styles seems to be like more fantasy based. So I don't know. um Halina said, "Hi guys, it's after midnight, and again, Florida midnight. I got to go to bed. Oh, fun. Oh, good night, Mint Yongi, punk pop. Okay. Soul said many can copy or have similar concepts, but what makes something different is the execution with feelings, style, colors, and connection that makes sense. And I'm just talking about the photos. Yeah. So definitely. And I think that's a big part of the reason no one has been able to copy their success or at least come close to it. Um, but many are copying it. Like they're using the same formula. It's just that no one has done it. Yeah, no one has copied the success. The Beatles kind of did it with Sergeant Pepper. Yes. So the only thing with Sergeant Pepper is that they did it in an album, right? It's one album, which is a great album, one of the greatest ever. But with BTS, they actually expanded the narrative, the universe. They actually created the universe using not just the song, not just the album, but also the music videos, short films, all of these websites that they're dropping, social media accounts, and of course the the notes. They have their manhwa, so they really expanded it so that it's not just the song that you're following, but an actual universe that you're getting into. I tried reading A Clockwork Orange. It's one of the handful of songs that I give up on. Um, Such individuality, they're allowed to shine their own color instead of conforming. Right. Okay. Airplane Part 2, heavily inspired by Latin pop. Yes. 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 And I think I mean, they're open about that fact that when they're creating music, they do try different genres. And I think everyone should try different genres. Pink Crystal, agree wholeheartedly. Can't know where we're going unless you know where you've been. When I found BTS in 2017, went down the rabbit hole and consumed everything I could find. Yeah, I mean, if you're not familiar with any of this, I would still suggest you go back into their discography. They have a website for it and just watch the music video if you can chronologically. Um, because it's going to give you a better idea on the movement. Okay, let me share this. So if you go to the website, this is an official website of theirs, you'll actually see their discography chronologically. And then you can just follow, you can just check. So if you'll see a description, some of the music videos that they have, even their main aesthetics at that time. That's RM. Oh, we're going down memory lane. That's Jimin, Jungkook. My God, he was just 15 years old here. Jin, he was already that good looking. That's Suga. He already had that smile and he already had that swagger. You have J Hope. Could you imagine they tried to hide his face? Why would they do that? V. Oh, he was already so good looking even when he was so young. So you can go to this website and then just search for this tracks, and then some of them will have a music video. The music videos are usually here. They put it here. So they have the comeback trailer. They have all of that here. So that is a good place to start for everybody. Um Joyce, we see nothing. You don't see anything? You don't see anything, Joyce? Hmm. Blank screen? Okay, let me try again. Oh, you see me now. Okay. But did you see the discography of BTS? Did you see the discography of BTS? Oh, you couldn't see anything. Okay, let's try it again. Do you see it now? Yes. Okay. All right, you see it now. So if you go here, ibighit.com, you will see their discography. So you can click on the or the CD, and then so you'll see the description. This is for those who want to go back. You'll see the description, you'll see a video if they released any video in related to that album. You'll see the debut trailer, all of those stuff. And then you'll see their photos. That's RM. There's Jin, Suga, J-Hope. You see all of that. You'll see the track. So then you can go back and then just prove album. So the what is the web address? Okay, I will paste it in the chat so that you guys can see. Which site is this? Hi boy mentioned that site. Thank you for mentioning it too. I've seen no MB. They were so into Supreme. Yeah. So like all the way, that's chronological, except the solo albums. So if you go there, description, you'll see all of their music video, the DNA music video, mic drop, the teaser, comeback trailer, it's complete. And then the photos that they released, it's there too. So if you want to save, if you missed some or if you haven't seen some of the photos that they have released, you can see it in their discography website. That's a very helpful. I still use this sometimes when I get confused because they've released so many music videos and so many songs already. Sometimes I get confused which one came after. Like sometimes I am confused which color. Like even for the most beautiful moment in life, I'm like, which one did come first? Is it the peach one, the blue one, or whatever? So sometimes I have to check. So go there, bookmark it, because it is possible to enjoy them and never fall down the rabbit hole. But once you do fall in, you find it's hiding a maze full of wormholes. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Pack it up. BTS is back. The tear concept photo, teaser concept is one of your favorite. Peach then blue. I know. Sometimes I forget. Okay. They are so young. Yeah, there's so much more. There are so much more. Like if you go back, way back, if you go to their Facebook page, you go to their Twitter page, oh my God, you have to start going back to the very first tweet that they posted. And then just go the Twitter account itself is going to take you like a year to complete. So better start now. Okay. Do you have questions about that? But just a reminder that BTS. A lot of people are like questioning why do we keep on saying they paved the way or that they revolutionized the industry because they did, and these are the reasons that we can use. Being number one doesn't necessarily mean you are the best or that everything or the first. Being first doesn't necessarily mean you're the best or that that you were the one who paved the way. So we do need to be very conscious and much more aware of what they've actually done. So those are the talking points, those are the things that we can talk about, those are the things that we can tweet about, post about, and just forget about the fan wars. There's nothing that's good, it's never going to be resolved no matter what you say. Even if you know you're right, they will never admit it, so why waste your time? It is way better to emphasize the good that BTS has done, and the things that they have affected, and the new things that they have introduced, because that's what people in the future will actually look at when they want to see who BTS is. These are the things that the Western media, Western people, Western fans are going to be checking into when they search for BTS to get to know them better. So talk about the good things instead of engaging in fan wars. Okay. Let's talk about. Do you have questions before I go to my next topic? Norm Roy said he is enjoying, or she is enjoying her lunch. BTS did and had paved the way. Let others think otherwise. Army is the biggest voice and that BTS have. Let's keep streaming their music. Yes. So as I've said, yes, definitely stream their music. Buy whatever, if you have the financial ability to buy. And also, if you're going to post about them, post about the good things that they have done. Okay. All right. Um, let's talk about how South Korea actually financed and how they built up their soft power. This was actually inspired. So I have a video that will be published tonight at, well, at 5 a.m. this morning. And the video is talking about 10 of the milestones, or the 10 most important things or events that happened in South Korea that shaped K-pop into what it is right now. So watch out for that video, and this is part of it. Part of that 10 events would be South Korean government's decision to actually support um, Hallyu, or their soft power, K drama, K arts, K pop, K music. Danji saying that BTS needs to fund her graduate schooling. Okay, so how did they actually, how how did they actually are okay, I got a message saying that there's a like a performance error. Do you see my screen? Danji said that she's going to start a GoFundMe. She just paid her tuition, and just thinking about it made me sick. I've been sick since before Christmas. Where are you enrolled, Danji? Okay, great. You see it. Perfect. So this is all this were all based on releases from the government. Some of the information are still posted on the Korean government website, and I will put the link in the description box once the this is once live is actually done. Okay. So everything actually started with Ro Tae-woo. Okay. If you mention his name, some people in South Korea will smirk because they don't like him, because he was actually eventually charged with corruption. So he was arrested and he was jailed for corruption. He was the sixth president of South Korea, but the very first democratically elected president of South Korea. And he was in power from 1988 to 1993. So he was an instrumental and an important figure in South Korean soft power, because of how he opened the country, how he democratized the country. That's basically it. He made the country a democracy. The system of government, or the system, is it the system of government? It is a system of government, right? So it is a democracy. He was the, as I've said, first freely elected South Korean leader, but and also he decided to open the economy of South Korea, and it actually paid off, because during his time, that's the highlighted part, South Korea's economy and per capita GDP doubled. So the recovery, economic recovery and buildup of South Korea actually started during his reign, during his term. Um, the 1988 Summer Olympics also happened during his reign. And he made sure he was instrumental. I don't know if you've seen it. It was so beautiful. I think it was one of the. I was still very young when I watched the Olympics, but it made me want to become an athlete because it was just so good. Like how they did it was so good. And he was instrumental in that because he was the one who insisted on creating a an opening ceremony that would actually display local culture and local arts, Korean culture and Korean arts. Okay. But it because after but because later he was arrested and charged for corruption, the reputation isn't so good. But no one can deny that the economic recovery and build up of South Korea started during his reign. However, he concentrated heavily on heavy industries. Heavy industries would be electronics, cars. So he financed all of this. He highly concentrated on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So the industries that he supported were electronics, technology, cars, or automobiles. So Samsung also started during his reign. He supported all of that. Now, they were on their way to recovery until the Asian financial crisis happened 1997 to 1998. So I don't know if you were like very aware of what was happening in Asia, but I was still back in the Philippines at the time and it was bad. It was really bad. Like our money didn't have any value. The ones that survived are like tribes who were planning their own like planning their own food and harvesting their own food and stuff like that, but it was really bad. And South Korea being very dependent on exports, they were badly hit during that time. At that time the president was Kim Dae-jung. Okay. And what he thought about was creating a Hollywood Korean version. That's what he wanted to do. Hollywood Korean version. So he thought, I don't know if you noticed this, but in the US, the PR, the publicist of America, that's why people have this idea of how good and beautiful America is. It's Hollywood. That's our publicist because they project our country to be so. So one of the early practice in the US was that if there is somebody walk in a scene in a movie, if there's somebody walking down the street, that street better be clean because that's how they want to project the US. So that's one of the ways on how they build the image of Hollywood of America. How Hollywood built the image of America. He wanted to create something similar because he thought he needed another form of export. And so he thought, IP, creativity, that is going to be the next export. So he had a two-stage strategy, two-pronged strategy. One is because creativity, like TV shows, music, arts, those are created by human beings. He cannot finance the creation of arts. Sorry, he cannot finance or guarantee art, how what kind of art was going to be created. He can only invest on the human beings that will create the art. So he wanted to finance people's creativity. If somebody wants to create something, the government will actually invest in that. They will finance it. That's first. Second, this, so that's why they were lending money to production companies. They were lending money to companies that wanted to open a radio station, TV station, movie companies. They wanted, and then they lent money to people who wanted to build websites, who had no idea on what kind of website they were going to build. They were financing all of that. And then the second thing that he did was to lay down the network to prepare for their success, which is very forward looking. Because remember, when they were starting out, when there was the economic crash, they weren't really selling anything because people didn't have any money to buy anything. So what he was doing was like, okay, I'm just going to invest on people and I'm going to wait until they succeed. That's a risk because he didn't know whether they were going to succeed or not. And he said, I'm just going to lay down the network so that when they succeed, everything is already there. Okay, as an example, he said he was going to finance production companies and they wanted to give tax breaks to movies and TV shows that would have whose subject or the main theme is actually traditional, very much connected to their culture. He built studios and entertainment venues. That's why they have many plazas, they have many concert venues, because he wanted to be prepared for the time when a lot of artists would want to hold events. They finance media stations, and he partnered with countries to get ready for the content export. When he was partnering, they didn't have any content to export yet. He just wanted a partnership. So they signed agreements, they forged relationships with different countries, because he thought when things are settled and we're ready to export our content, then the agreement is there. It's going to be easy for us. He also created the Korea Creative Content Agency, or KOCA is what they call it. So Coca has a different divisions for different arts. So there's a division for music, division for movies, TV, websites, paintings, different types of arts. And in each division, their objective is to support artists that are pursuing that type of art. Now, so he did this for years until they hit something good, which is Winter Sonata. And by the time it became a hit, I mean, it went around Asia. It became a big hit in different countries in Asia. It was okay for them because they could handle it, because they were ready. So Nami Island, which is one of the most popular locations of Winter Sonata, I don't know if you've been there. For those of you who have been to South Korea, for those of you who haven't, you have to go there. So they knew that when Winter Sonata became popular, people were going to come to South Korea just to visit that freaking location. They were ready. They had Nami Island tour. The Nami Island is where the famous location was. So the Nami Island tour, it was beautiful, clean. There were restrooms, there were places where to buy food, all of those things. He was ready. And that was the point. South Korea didn't get lucky with Winter Sonata. Luck is when hard work meets opportunity. And that's what he was there for. He worked hard to prepare everything. So when it became a hit, he was ready for everything else. Um, the most important contribution though of Winter Sonata is that they found a narrative that worked, a narrative formula that worked for, and that and formula that they're still using to this day. That's why they're so good with love stories and romance, because they're following a formula they know will work. It has to be unapologetically romantic and unrealistically wholesome. That's the key. It has to be super duper romantic that it will make you tremble to your bones. That's basically it. And it has to be very wholesome. That when the two characters finally kiss, you're just like in cloud nine, when all they did was actually just peck on the lips. That's it. But because they built it up so good, you're just waiting for that one moment, and that becomes the highlight. So the highlight of the series or the movie. So that's what they mastered. They're trying to master that little moments that will make you like tremble to your bones. I just want you to that will make you root for the two main characters to be together. Now, when so they had that hit in drama and TV, they finally had a hit in music, and that is BTS. And they were also just as prepared. So when BTS started wearing hanbok and started making music videos in different locations, all of these music video locations are ready. You want to go there? We're going to take you there. It's going to be easy to go there. You can wear a hanbok all over Seoul, South Korea. You can do anything that BTS has done. It's all because they were ready. They knew at some point they were going to have a hit. And when they do, they wanted to be prepared, and they were. So, as you know, BTS was the one who actually modernized hanbok. They kept on wearing it. They still are wearing it. And one of the greatest things that BTS achieved is that they made people want to understand Korean language, Hangul, the writing and the language, and they made people crave Korean cuisine. And Koka, who has been working since 1990s, was ready. So when people wanted to study the language, study their food, and all of those things, they were ready. They also now offer free online classes. So if you're interested, just call the Korean Cultural Center in LA. This is not an advertisement. This is not a partnership. This is not a brand deal. I'm just saying they actually offer Korean classes. So if you want to study, just call them. It's online. It's online, by the way. So the question is, how much did they actually invest? So remember that when they invested this money, inflation wasn't as bad as it is today. Okay. So I'm going to translate this amount into the value it has now, basically. So, but their first contribution, the first funding was back in 1994, and it was 4.1 million. By 1999, they added another 76.9 million. Now, this is 76.9 million back in 1999. So this is way more now. 2004, they increased the budget. They put in another $132.8 million. 2007, they put in another 152.2 million. Again, remember, 152.2 million back in 2017 is worth way more now. Okay. 2012, they increased the budget by another $191.7 million. So the question is, in today's dollars, how much is all of this? It's worth 1.3 trillion dollars. That's how much they've put into preparing and financing K the Hallyu wave, in financing K arts, K music, K drama, and other aspects or areas of art. They supported it. They made sure that everything is ready so that when they get a hit, they be prepared, and they are. So now you know 1.3 million. The question now is, can they sustain the success? There is a because there seems to be a consensus that it seems that the support of the government for K-pop and K-drama is starting to wane down because people are trying to pull everybody down. It's about politics. It's about corruption. It's not about supporting content and supporting each other anymore. I'm not Korean. I don't know where they're headed with this, but I know for sure that even during the time of those presidents, for all of their corruption, they actually put their money where their mouth was. They knew it was important for the country to actually get their soft power going, and they funded it. 1.3 trillion. Imagine that. Um, I also hope that they understand that it's actually their culture that's that made the world fall in love with them. So I hope that they stop this foreign culture adoption. It seems that because they're so aware, they're so online, they are trying to make the issues of other countries their issues. They're trying to make the sensitivities and um, baggages of other countries their own. It's not they we love the world has come to love South Korea because of their identity, and I hope that they don't lose it. Okay, do you have questions? That's seriously impressive and prepared. Yeah. I mean, 1.3 trillion. Is that the reason why the government has percentage share in almost all major company? No, I mean the percentage share that they have in the companies are done through actual investments. So, for example, they have the pension fund, which is owned by the government. So the pension fund can actually invest in different countries. So over and above the funding that the government is providing to different companies who want to start or produce, or any company that is going to earn some tax credit, that is a separate budget. So the pension fund, they're getting their budget some other way, which they are just investing on different companies for their money to grow. I hope that's clear. So, for example, the government has a funding set aside for Hallyu Wave. And I'm a production company, for example. I'm Korean, I'm a production company, and I wanna um say I want to produce a movie that is centered on um women's fashion, for example, during the whatever era. So I go to the government and say, hey, I have a story here. This is my script. I have the commitment. Am I frozen now? Am I unfrozen now? I don't know. I just got you're okay. Okay, unfrozen. Perfect. I don't know what happened. It just reconnected. I was talking and it just reconnected. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So going back, so if I have, for example, I have a production company and I go to the government and say, I have a story, I have the commitment of different artists, and the story is going to promote Korean fashion, for example, then the government can lend me the money and then pay it back after if it is successful. I can go to the government and say, hey, I have, several projects that actually made it big, give me tax credit. That happens during the tax season, of course, then I get a tax credit, and that comes from the funding of the government. Now the pension fund, that's a different budget, that's a different money, just like the 401k here, right? In the US we have 401k or IRA. Whoever is the custodian of that money, they actually reinvest that money that we are saving for that to grow. So the pension fund in South Korea, they get their money somewhere else and then they reinvest it on different companies. Okay. Um let me see here. Okay. Does that give the government a say in what they are creating? Um it is no different from what an investor, the right of another investor would have, correspondent to what they have invested. So, for example, set aside the Korean fund, for example, who is a fund manager. So, for example, I'm just an investor, right? And I invest in a company, and my investment is, this is just an example, $500 billion. That's how much I invested. And so apparently 500 billion will give me 20% ownership of the company. Then um I have 20%. I have the voting power of somebody who has 20% of the company. So I have the powers of somebody who has 20% of the company, whatever that may be. That depends on the rules and regulations. So it's the same thing for the funds. The Korean fund, for example, the pension fund from Korea, if they buy a company and not buy, but if they buy a share of the company and they end up owning 10% of the company, that's correspondent to what they've paid for, then they will have the rights of somebody who owns 10% of the company. They are aware that BTS's popularity is bigger than they thought. It was so they're playing catch up. And that sounds awesome. I'm the only army that doesn't listen to music, mostly only news. Sister could care less and wants me to shut up. Dorothan, you can always join our Patreon community. You can talk about BTS. We talk about BTS there a lot. We also talk about other things. So the National Pension Services owns about 6.3% of HYBE, Joy said. Yeah. So then they will have the voting power of somebody who owns 6.3. I don't know how many that is. It really depends on the business documents that they have. So that Baya Explorer said, I'm a BTS orphan and so love the Patreon community. A lot of people don't understand. One way is to try to look for people within your vicinity that are join groups, basically, that are within your vicinity. You don't have to meet with them in person. You can just like form a group or join a group online. At least you have someone you're talking with. But as I've said, in our Patreon community, everyone is from all over the place, but at least there's one space online that we go to talk about BTS or other things as well. HYBE is the agency, but the individual companies are responsible for their own artists. Correct. Yeah. So HYBE is actually not an agency; they're a mother company, a holding company, if you will. So they actually own other services that other companies under them can use. I graduated Shatong Tonga. Great idea. I graduated. So, is there anybody from Las Vegas here? Anybody from Vegas? So Rosie said, I graduated in 1980. I just started following BTS almost 8 months ago. I wish I had followed earlier, but I think I found them when I was at a real low point, doing lots better now. Rosie, that's what they say. You will find BTS in your perfect time. You found them at that time because that's when you need to find them, and that is the perfect time for you. So the good news is that it we still have about 5.5 months before the entire group is back. So then you can catch up a little on the content, right? So you can start with that website that I sent, the BTS discography site, and then go from there. Albert, we all find BTS when we need them, correct? Okay, I found BTS 2017 AMA performance DNA. They find you. Sure, they find you. They found me. I don't know how they found me. I found them 2023. I'm in Oregon. Oregon. Oh my god. Catching up with BTS is impossible. Bang, do I have to cheer them? We have to encourage them. Even though we're encouraging them to do something we haven't been able to do. No, Bang Luna actually was able to catch up on content. I haven't been able to catch up on content. The big three micromanage their groups and play favorites. It's not about that. It's not about the art. It's such a rabbit hole, Teresa said. I've been an army since 2018. I still learn so much from you, Fairlene. Oh, thank you. Sunny said from USA military, they will not get you involved in this domestic dispute. They will not be asked. And even if they were, they would refuse. They are there to protect from outside attacks, period. They found me in 2023, Dawn Marie said. Rosie said, I talked to everybody and anybody about my love and admiration for BTS. I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. Okay. How do you Valentina said, how do BTS hold shares in Big Hit? Did they purchase them themselves? They were given. So when Hybe baby, don't bark. When Hybe went public, they were given shares each. So they didn't purchase it. They were just given a share. They should. They deserve it. They deserve more. They are, as a collective, they're the fifth biggest shareholder of Hybe. As a collective. Um yeah, I think the fifth biggest. BTS owns about 1% collectively. Yeah, well, about 1.2, 1. Something like that. But yeah, they're as a collective, they're the fifth biggest. Which is the last BTS album you've bought? The last BTS album? Proof. Yeah, that was the last one that they released, right? Proof. I have B. I thought a few members sold them. There might be some, like, I don't know what happened, but they are still listed. They sold some, not all of them. Yeah, not all of them. They were given, but may have bought some as well. Yeah, they probably bought some more. Um, they own more than all the sub-label CEOs combined. That is true. And also, we do need to remember BTS members are savvy businessmen. I'm pretty sure that they have businesses or shares in some companies we don't know about, that we shouldn't know about unless they choose to. So I wouldn't worry about their friend. The boys are so smart. I think they're investing their money well. I don't know how they're investing it. I don't know them personally. Have no knowledge about what they do with their lives, personal lives. I mean, so I mean anything that they do outside of their music, I don't know about it. So I'm pretty sure we shouldn't worry about like how much money they have. They have more than what they can ever hope to spend. Scooter also owns about 1%. I think as a collective, they own more than Scooter. I think so. I was also born 55. Jin sold the most for about $4 million. Yeah, maybe I can see here. Maybe I can show you. This is available, by the way, to everybody. Let me see if I can show you. Hmm, where did I find that? Financials. Ah, here. I think this is it. Um, any other questions while I'm looking for this? Where is it? Did I hide it? They used to post like the top shareholders. I think they took it out. Or maybe it's just somewhere that I don't see anymore. Okay, do you have questions? Hi, Sam L. How are you? What time is it in Singapore? Cat Taylor Swift and many in USA dumped him as a manager due to his sneaky buy of all Taylor's material. Born in 54 and will be 71 in June. I think they reinvested it. Could have reinvested it. 1:53 p.m. in Singapore. Oh, okay. Perfect time. Okay. So, do you have any questions? I just want to share with you a just an I was supposed to share like a funny mythology. Do you think Jin or V will ever play with fans again? Oh, I'm pretty sure they will. Why did you doubt that? I'm sure they will. We should buy shares. We should all buy shares, especially when it's not like at the peak, because that's when it's actually going to give you uh, you will be able to maximize your possible gains when you buy low. So in fact, let me show. Stocks are actually in recovery. So this is a 5-day revenue report of their stocks. Only SM is down. It's down by 3.82%. It might recover. The trading is still open in South Korea today. So, but HYBE has already recovered. In the past 5 days, they've been up 8.25%. JYP is up 6.31%. YG is up 4.45%, 4.40, yeah, for 4.45%, but SM Entertainment is actually down 3.82%. Now, do remember that the stock market is very, very volatile. So it goes up and down, up and down. And the primary reason the stocks were down during the Christmas season is that people were liquidating so that they could earn their money. So if they bought low during Christmas, they can get rid of it and then get the earnings. Or some of them are actually getting the tax breaks. So in the US, for example, if you sell a stock and you sell it for, if you lost money in that investment, you can actually get a tax break. So you get a tax refund from the losses that you've suffered. So some of them are doing that. So a lot of people were like panicking during Christmas because, or bad mouthing these companies during Christmas because it was down and whatever. It's natural for that to happen during the holidays. But it's still a good time to invest because all of these companies, they're still far from their all-time high. So there's still room for growth. And then the other thing for for Hybe is that J-Hope is going to come back. The Bio Explorer said, "Yeah, I only look at mine every 6 months to make adjustments." Well, you're a little better than I am. I actually look at mine every month because I buy every month. So I'll share that with you in a little bit. But J Hope is going to come back. He's already said that he's preparing a lot. So for sure he's going to make a comeback. And if Hype share is already going up without his activities, imagine how much is going to go up when he actually does his activities. The best part of this is that when he actually starts um, doing his activities, he will be able to do more than just release an album. The problem with many of the BTS solo activities during their military service is that they weren't able to do any concert. They were just releasing music, and that doesn't really earn them a lot of money. But because J-Hope is done with his service, he can go on tours. He can do so much more, and that will earn him a lot of money and the company a lot of money. So that share is going to go up for sure. I don't even doubt that. So just, I mean, as I've said, the stock market is volatile, so there's going to be up and down all the time, but generally it's going to go up. So don't worry about it. We're manifesting a tour. Hi, Bellatrix. So we're manifesting a tour. So I hope that he does more than just like several stops. I hope that he really does a world tour. He has time. So if he starts early, he can still rest before the return of his brothers. Anyway, so this is just me wishful thinking. I am definitely not pressuring him. Besides, even if I pressure him, I am a nobody in his life. He will not even hear this, so that's fine. I do think that they're going to do a continuation. They've already said that they're going to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the most beautiful moment in life. I think there's going to be some sort of continuation of a story. I don't know in what form, whether they're going to do a series, a movie, a book, or maybe they've already shot something and then they just they haven't released it. I don't know, but I feel like they are either going to continue the story or conclude the story. And I do think that they are going to pick up from where they left off with the Mott's tour. We know that got spoiled, but I do believe that they're going to do the biggest tour of their lives once they return. Because I also do believe that right after that, they are going to rest, maybe, or go into individual activities. So I don't worry about that at all. And I think the main question in everybody's mind, or the fear in many people's hearts, is that with all the individual successes that they've experienced, even when they can't promote, what else can you expect from the group once they are together, right? I mean, you have two members reaching Billboard Hot 100 number one. You have Suga selling out his solo tour so bad that he actually should have just done a stadium tour, and there will be enough demand. You have one of the most critically acclaimed albums with RPWP. All of these successes put together, I think as a group, they are just going to destroy everything. So all this, the if you observe many of the things that people are talking about, or journalists are mentioning, it's all about, oh, they're back, so they better wrap up this issue with Mama Roach and Old Shorts, because BTS members are back. And I actually kind of disagree. I don't think that the case will have any bearing on the success of BTS as a group. I don't think it will matter whether they are they whether the case is going on, I don't think it will matter. It's not going to affect their success. I don't think I don't think people are going to care. It's like it's just going to be just another corporate drama, and people are just going to watch what's going to happen with BTS, and armies are just going to go back to the usual, and that is that we are going to fight each other to get tickets. There's going to be Hunger Games for tickets. I don't think any of these cases. I think people are trying to, like, they're trying to um, they're overestimating their influence and their popularity compared to BTS if they think that whatever it is that they're doing will actually affect the career of BTS. Definitely not. So, as for me, I I honestly don't care. Like whatever it is that you do with that case, I'll be watching just because it's entertaining, but it's not going to affect my interest in BTS. Like the minute the minute J Hope breathes, I will drop everything just to listen to him breathing. So, so immaterial and irrelevant. I think Jin wanted to go straight to work. I think that was Jin's choice. Yeah. I don't think so either, Miss Fairlane. Army certainly won't. Will be so completely focused on BTS like Mama Roche. Like imagine it's already so hard to get tickets. Do you think we will actually have time to worry about everything else? I think the minute BTS announces their tour, we are all just going to collectively lose our minds and just plot on how we can actually secure tickets. I think that's what's going to happen. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. We're just going to like, I don't care about anything else. I'm going to offer my kidney just to be able to get a ticket. I don't think we'll have time to worry about anything else. Um, Okay. I hardly hear Pink Crystal. I hardly hear anything about Mama Roach and Old Shorts now. People are moving on from them, especially since Jin and J Hope are now out and BTS will be reunited in June. That's what I really believe. So I was trying to be careful about saying that because I don't know if I'm simply, maybe it's just my algorithm that's changing because I don't read the updates anymore about them. So I thought, oh, maybe it's just my algorithm. But there's way more people are actually telling me that people are losing interest. It looks like J Hope is coming up with quite a schedule. I hope so. As I've said, I think in the beginning of this live stream, I said that maybe a part of the reason he hasn't really announced anything yet is to let this thing get resolved in South Korea. Maybe I may be wrong. Danji, why is it? Oh, okay. Celeste, I am manifesting. Okay, so fast. So minimum. How much should we save for a tour? V Heart, where are you from? That really depends where are you from, and if you're willing to travel. Like I think people from the Philippines will just have to be ready to travel to somewhere in Asia, like maybe Singapore, maybe South Korea. So that depends on where you are. If BTS usually goes into your country, then you're lucky that you just have to save for the ticket. So I think the ticket is not going to be any. I think maybe the cheapest will be 500 because of inflation. So maybe the nosebleed is minimum 500. Tomorrow is zombie time with Jen and J Hope. I know you need your visa. Where are you, Bellatrix? Visa to where? If they use dynamic pricing here in the US, it could go up to 900. I know. Oh my gosh. Adore is going to debut another group. I'm pretty sure that they are going to debut another group, but also they are also like open to auditions. They're opening auditions. So maybe in a year or two, they're going to launch another group. Bellatrix, Mexico, I would need to go to USA. They go to Mexico, don't they? I think they will go to Mexico. They might go to Mexico. I thought similar, but the political and other happenings may be buying the roach. I fear she might crawl out again. I think she's going to try. She's definitely going to try and steer something, start something. But I think people are just going to be so busy with BTS. The media, the fans, other fans, like the haters, they would just want to concentrate on BTS. Armies will just concentrate on hyping whatever it is that they're releasing and securing the tickets. The media will just be busy covering whatever it is that they're talking about, and the haters are just going to be busy hating on BTS. I think a lot of people will just lose interest on her, but I think she's going to try. She's definitely going to try. Everyone come to LA. Let me know if you guys need an airport pickup. Ray said. Um, the Bio said luck will play an even bigger role than money in getting tickets again. Oh, for sure. Definitely. I think Levi Stadium will be on the list of BTS concert. I think they're going to try and do something different. Maybe do a 360 stage. I think so. To try and get more people inside. The demand is going to be crazy, and I think they're very aware of it. So I do think that they would want to get as many people, give as many people a chance to watch them as possible. So maybe they're looking for ways and already thinking about how they can actually accommodate more people than usual. And one way would be to do a 360 stage where they are in the center, so the entire stadium actually can have people. And I honestly, like, I don't mind if it's a 360 stage, even if it means like half the time their backs are on me. I don't mind that, because I do understand how difficult it is to get tickets, and that for a lot of people it might be the first and last time they will get to see BTS. So, like, okay, like, I like, that's not going to be the best experience for me, but I understand. LA and Vegas had overflows too. Yeah. I don't mind if it's a hot in the outback. Yeah, they're definitely. I mean, I want to get at least one good seat. I'm going to watch more than once. Let me just put it out there. um so that is just, I'm going to watch more than once. I hope that I can get at least one good seat, and then I can just, and then for the rest, it will just be for the experience. I don't mind for as long as I'm a part of it, something like that. If I'd be streamed online, if it'd be streamed online, I'd be okay with it. I don't know if they're going. Maybe they're going to stream one or two, maybe, or maybe after. How is J Hope managing his solo comeback, especially considering BTS is going to reunite in June 2025, as they might be planning for the group comeback as well? Um, so do remember that when they are in the military, they cannot do anything that will make them earn money. So I don't think they will be able to do anything until they're actually out. So J Hope, that basically gives J Hope 5.5 months before his brothers come back. And even after the rest are back, I mean, they're not going to hit the ground running in terms of like going out there and performing. So I think he has time. Um, how many months was, I think Sugar's tour was 3 months, right? I think he really packed it, and that's part of the reason he got so sick. So yeah, so I think he has enough time. I will be happy just attending once. Mission Impossible Army version. Is the Weavers Army membership fee a yearly fee or a monthly? 22 USD monthly. Sorry, the yearly. They can't all pull. That's a yearly membership. They can't all pull a Jin. He's a madman. I think they will do one event for Festa. I'm pretty sure. True, he fought the company to do it. Hunger Games for getting tickets. I know. I don't what it is, but I have always said that their stylist is the best, and now they get some of their stage clothes from big name designers. I want to go to BTS concerts. I can't get tickets for. I'm keeping a credit free just for this. I do have one credit card that I actually have savings just for BTS. This is so I was going to tell everybody, just I always try, so I have my monthly income, right? So I split it um so that I put some money for my emergency fund. So the goal is to have about 12 months of emergency fund, so that if anything happens. So what I did is compute my monthly expenses, And then I'm building towards having 12 months of that monthly expense just set aside for emergencies. So that's one. And then of course I have my investments like 401k, my retirement fund, IRA. I try to maximize that. And then I put some money in stocks, and then I have my BTS fund. Well, of course I pay my bills, and then I have my BTS fund. So that goes to the tour. So that's what I do. I essentially have two jobs. I actually used to have three. I quit one. So basically, my full time job, my business, and this is the three jobs that I have. So I put one income just for BTS. BTS and my emergency fund. And then the rest goes to my investments and bills and stuff. There is no update from Jen from last month. I think the Northern Light trip will be a thing. I hope so. It would be so magical to see them see it. Right? I do want that memory for them, or whatever it is that they prefer. Valentina Trindade. I thought you were going to say you have a BTS fund. I do have a BTS fund. I do have a BTS fund. I just set aside some money for that because I know that they're going to it's going to be a huge expense. A big part of it is that I do want to go to, if they do um Wembley, I definitely want to go, even if it is bad, like nosebleed tickets. I don't mind. I just want to go and be a part of it. So that's one. Um and then, so if I'm going to UK, might as well go another venue, right? So, another country. Like if they go to Paris, then I'll probably watch them in Paris too. So that's part of the, like, that's why I'm trying to save as much as I can, because I want to go to, if they do Wembley, I want to go to UK. And then here in the US, I definitely, whatever LA show they have, I want to watch all of it. And then one more state, maybe New York, Chicago. I don't care, but I want to watch one more state. Wembley for comics, yeah. For concerts, yeah. Ideally, I would want to see multi shows. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I would want to be a part of would be Korea. But I know that, oh my God, I don't know how to go. I don't know how I'm gonna get tickets, but I'm pretty sure that it'll be super hard. I hope they go again to Allegiant. Oh, for sure. I'm pretty sure they will. 360. Okay. All right. Um I want to share just a little story with you guys. Buying Korean tickets is like a dream. I know, because they always have the best experience. This, of course, is different for BTS because that's their home country. So I understand why there's always something unique and different in their shows in South Korea. But I do want to be a part of it. Um, okay, this is the last one that I wanted to share. And I think this is the first time that I will be covering all the topics that I said I was going to cover. I just want to share a little about share my dreams. I will. Just that last Jungkook one was so funny because I was so mad at them both. I was pulling their hair. That's why I thought of sharing them, but I will share some of them. Okay, so the I wanted to share a little about Asian mythology. One of my favorite characters of all time. And I don't know if are you guys a fan of Gandalf, Lord of the Rings? I say 80% is there anybody who's a fan of Lord of the Rings? I remember. Yes. Okay. Is there anyone who's a fan of, or who knows the story of Lilith, which is the song of Shoga um with her? I forget her name. Do you know English standard? Do you know the story of Lilith and where it Diablo? Halsey, yes. Okay. So Lilith is actually a biblical character. Yeah, I think she's a biblical character. She's supposedly the first wife of Adam. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's first wife of Adam. So this is her story, and she was made into a character in Diablo. So Lilith, yeah, Adam's first wife, and then I think this is the story that God the Father was displeased, and so she was thrown in the land of Nod, or the land of nothingness. Okay, that's where she was thrown. And then from there, because she was left to fend for herself, she developed superpowers. She developed, this is the story that was developed after, based on her story. Like, she had to fend for herself. So um, she had to like learn how to survive without food, without water, and all of that. And because of that, she sort of turned herself, because of the abilities that she developed, she became an antichrist. Basically, she became the devil, the opposite of good. She became bad, all because she was angry towards God for throwing her in the land of Nod. So that's her story. That's Lilith. So so set that aside. I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that story of Lilith. Eventually, that story of Lilith was actually taken by another publishing company, The World of Darkness, and she was developed into a vampire character, but we will get into that later. So okay, let's set aside Lilith. One of my favorite characters of all time is Gandalf the Grey, just because he was very gray and then became very white. But also, I just like his character. When I used to play Diablo, I was actually a priest. Sorry, I'm not. I wasn't. I wasn't. My second character was a priest, but I was actually a magician. So now there is there is a mythological character from the Philippines. We call that mythological character the Hermit, or Ermitanyo, or the Hermit. So that is sort of similar to that, similar to Gandalf the Grey. They have supposedly some powers, and they're a hermit, so they don't really interact with civilization. I am a Diablo player, yeah. So now there is a popular story, not a popular story, sorry, this is a story that I created, but based on a popular event that happened in the Philippines. So this is Lilith, apparently, an interpretation of an artist. I don't know if you know this, but Mount Pinatubo, who has been resting for dormant for 500 years, actually erupted about 10 years, more than 10 years ago. So it erupted after 500 years of being dormant. And it was such a huge eruption that the ashfall actually went to Japan. So Japanese woke up with all ashes on their streets. Like, where did this come from? Oh, the Philippines. That's how big it was. And everyone, like, people in the US actually saw it. It was a big, big eruption. It actually wiped out an entire province, which is Pampanga. Now, the story is that it was uh, Tatang, which is the name of a hermit who has. So Tatang was apparently the reason that Tatang. Okay, let me go back to that. Tatang used to be a a magician's assistant. So he would just, but the so he was a magician's assistant. So he would just learn from the magician that he was working for. Later on, he learned that this is not just an ordinary witch, not an ordinary magician, not an ordinary witch, but this is actually Lilith that he was serving, that he was helping. And so once he learned about it, he learned magic as well in order to be Lilith, because she's known as the devil. So he learned, and he did everything as fast as he could to try and beat Lilith. And so there it culminated into this great battle between Lilith and Tatang. They battled, and he wasn't able to kill her, but he was able to put her to sleep. The only thing is that he had to keep watch on her, because she's not really dead, she was just sleeping. You can't kill somebody who's already dead, basically that. So he buried her in Mount Pinatubo, which is the doormat volcano that has been dormant for 500 years. And so the reason it erupted was because Lilith actually woke up and he battled her. So that is the reason, allegedly, this is based on the story that I created. That is the reason that when the so everyone left because it wiped out an entire province because it was a big battle between Lilith and Tatang. And then when they come back, Tatang was already back in the mountain. It was because he was able to put her back into sleep, but the curse is that he can never leave because he will forever be guarding Lilith. So that's the tale of a hermit, one of the many um, characters that we have in the Philippines. So we have thousands of mythological characters, but the hermit or the ermitanyo is one of the most used because they're so old. So they're usually used as the all-knowing guide. So if you ever need any advice or if you want to ask anything about a spirit or a monster or how to beat them, you go to an ermitanyo or a hermit. MJD at Fairlane Ermitanyo reminds me of mga kwento ni Lola Basyang, mga kwentong katatakutan. Yeah, so there's this popular, I've actually forgotten about that. There's this popular TV show in the Philippines. It's called Kwento ni Lola Basyang or Stories of Grandmother Basyang. Basyang is the name of the grandmother. And it's all about like horror stories. Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1992. Yeah, but before that, it has been dormant for 500 years. It wiped out the entire province. Like after everything settled, there were like you would see like a pole, top of the pole, and you wouldn't know what it is. And it's like, oh, it's a pole, but because everything is buried. The entire province was actually buried. That you're just seeing the top of the pole. And then some celebrities, so because the land that wasn't worth anything, right? It was all ashfall. So many celebrities bought like acres upon acres of land. Sunny, post a link. Are you talking to me? What link? You want a link of the story? I'll need to watch this again sometime because I'm not good at following info. So need to check websites and what the thing about the orange thing is and get the title of the video to watch later. Oh, Claire said that the Pinatuba, the mountain that was dormant for 500 years erupted during her birthday. Oh my gosh. Danji said, time for me to leave you all. It's been nice. Good night, everybody. Good night, Danji. We're almost done too. It's an hour 53. So I think Sunny is behind on the live. It could be, yeah. She could be behind on the live. She's probably asking for the link of the BTS discography. So for those that are asking, if you want to look at the complete discography of BTS chronological, that's the website. It's a big hit website, so it's official. So you can look at their albums chronologically, and then if you click the album, you'll see the music videos, the teasers. So it's pretty complete. Okay, Sunny, I think I reposted. I think I know what the link. You're behind, but I think I know what you're talking about, and that is the link. Super enjoyed that story about the Ermitanyo Ate. We also have many good stories here in the Philippines about mythological creatures. Okay, yeah. So yes, we do. So I'm gonna go through like maybe every live. Just I'll take like 3 minutes just to tell you one mythological story, Asian mythological character, maybe funny, entertaining, or just downright badass. We have a lot. We have a lot. I was reading another mythological character, and this one's from Japan. And apparently, when you're in the restaurant when you're in the toilet. It will appear from the toilet. And then uh it will ask you if you want like a red toilet paper or a blue toilet paper. I'll tell you about it. It was so funny. A bit mythological. Yeah, just about 3 minutes. I think that should be great just for you to have like I'll always try to, if you follow me, if you are subscribed to my YouTube, I do post mythological characters, stories of mythological characters or folk stories. Uh I prefer something funny, but always insightful. So maybe I can get some of that and tell you about it here. Hi, Apo Bangpo. Well, that's one way to get clean law. I've reading a book on Korean mythology. It's so interesting. It is very interesting. My favorite is the one with many hands. V's Winter Ahead MV got me looking at Pygmalion. Greek mythology is great. I mean, you someone can create one channel just on Greek mythology. It's great for sure. Okay. We are almost approaching the second hour. Do you have questions? Do you have anything you want to ask me? One of my favorite stories that you told is about Mengpo and her soup. I love that story. I love Mengpo and her soup. So people, please go to my channel and search for Mengpo and my soup. Maybe I can just, it's such an insightful story. I will post the link here. Okay, here you go. Please check that. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, insightful story. The Bio Explorer, my tita babysitter told me some, so I can to yeah. I'd also just watch some of my videos. I talk about them. My high school team term paper was about Greek mythology. I do remember when toilet paper was in scholars. Oh, there's someone who asked me like, um, what is my stock that is earning a lot right now? So it is not good for you to invest when things are good. Like when stocks are going up, that's not the time to invest. You invest when it's down. So however, the best time to invest is now because it all depends on your. This is not a financial advice, by the way. You do have to check and research what stocks are. Okay. Remember to research. So, but if I do have an advice, like don't be scared if this is not an advice. Sorry, this is not an advice. It's just me sharing. What I do is just I set aside the money. I set aside a certain income monthly that I put into stocks. But more than the stocks, I just make sure that my 401k, which is my retirement account, and IRA, that's maximized. And whatever is left is what I actually invest in the stock market. And I choose the stocks that I invest in. I research them based on my interests, and then and what I believe is going to go up eventually. But also, I'm a long-term investment investor, meaning I don't wait. It's not like in 1 year I need that money. I will need that money when I retire. So I have decades ahead of me. So I'm not really worried about whether or not my stocks are going up in the short term. I'm like, I believe in this company. I know that in 10 years it's going to get better. So I don't really care. So, that being said, some of my favorite stocks, I do have Coca Cola because it has dividends, meaning I think quarterly, it gives me back a certain amount, a certain percentage of my investment. And Lumens, that's also a dividend stock. And then I do invest in tech companies. So I have Tesla, I have Amazon. Um, I let go of Google and then Apple. And then I diversify. So I have pharmaceutical companies. Also, Pfizer, I actually have Pfizer. And that's a dividend stocks too. It gives out dividends. And then whatever dividend I get, I also reinvest. Do you invest in IGN? I don't think they're a public company yet. So, but if when they do become public, I'm going to invest there. Smartest thing I did was start investing when the economy tanked after Babs 6 Bush left the office and the real estate bubble broke. Yeah, that's like, so when the stock market tanked for a very very short period of time, I started buying a lot of stocks. So that's, so like for example, lumens I bought when it was like $1 or something, and then it went up 10, it went up 12, 13, and then went back 6. But I'm not really worried because I'm like, you can go back, I don't care. Like if you go down, I'm just going to buy more, which is good for me. But remember people, if stock market shouldn't be your priority. If you have retirement accounts, that's what I would rather prioritize before you get into stock market. Like only invest what your excess, that shouldn't be your main. Girl, get the heck out of Tesla. No, it's like, so I bought Tesla when it was, I think it went down to about 90. I think I was able to go in, it was like 110, 120, and I just didn't let go. And it's now like at 400. Maybe it's going to tank. I don't care. If it tanks, I'm just going to buy more. So the same thing with Coca-Cola. So when I bought, it was like 58. When it went up 70, I was like, some people were like, sell it. I'm not going to sell it. I'm like here for the long term. So now it's back down at 63. I don't really care. Again, and the only reason I am this at peace is because I am in here for the long haul. Like I'm not rushing to take it out there. It's just going to stay there until I need to retire. So saw a video about JK bullying, heard originally a while. No, it's not true. Is HYBE a US stock? Not yet. You're gonna have to buy, you need a fund manager if you wanna invest in HYBE. Do you think Kakao platform will succeed? Mm, do you think Kakao platform will succeed? In South Korea, they will succeed. In South Korea. Is HYBE a US stock? No, they're not a US stock. Not yet. Do you have info on Patreon? I know nothing about stocks, and my 403b is probably nil at this point. You can convert your 403 in an IRA if you want to have more control over it. Getting charged like fees if you're not doing anything with your 403b. So you can convert in your IRA so you can be more active. A lot of people are asking me about it, like stocks and how do I manage my money. So probably I'm going to like start uploading videos just on that, and then just, if you're interested, watch. If you're not, but I think the key for me is that I am not a risk taker when it comes to money. Um, so whatever I invest on, I'm like, I have to be super super sure that I've done enough research. Like before I started investing in the stock market, I wanted to make sure that whatever it is that I'm investing is what I am willing to lose. Not willing, but what I know I can afford to lose. I don't want to lose it, of course. I'm not rich, but so I don't invest much. That's the thing. And I think I've told everybody this several times already. I am not rich. If I retire now, I cannot retire in the US because you need about 3 to 4 million in the US to retire now. I don't have that money. I can retire in the Philippines and not work another day in my life, but not in the US. So just to give you an idea on where I am financially, but knowing that I can retire somewhere in a place that I like, that gives me like peace of mind. And so I think I am better able to take risks because I have that backup. Like I have a house in the Philippines. It's far, far cheaper in the Philippines. So if I go back there, it's not like I need to pay rent or whatever. Do research if the company does bad environmental things. That's one of the things. Yeah, like people are very particular about footprints, like yeah, the environmental practices of a company. I am not really particular about it, just because I've done my research about. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, so but some people are very particular about it, so so research that if you are very concerned about footprints and carbon footprints, so research that. If you want to research the owners, like what kind of things that they do, are there criminals, have they abused women before, abused children before, do all of that. So like all of those things, if those things are like a concern to you, make sure that you do all of those things first. um yeah. And then, but I think the biggest thing is whatever it is that you're going to be putting in the stock market, make sure that it is something that, um, nobody wants to lose money, but at least it has to be something that you can afford to lose. Because, yeah, so prioritize the things that you are more sure of before that. Dang, now you made me curious to peek at mine. Luckily, it's up. Yeah, I just peek I have to look at mine monthly because I invest monthly. So I see it. But other than that, other than the time when I log in to buy, nothing else. Okay. I won't be able to retire until I'm 150 years old. Don't say that. Don't say that. Retired, and my 401k is still in the company's investment, some in government funds, some in stocks. That is good. But I mean, as I've said, if you've left the company, you can roll over your 401k to a self-directed IRA, and then you can put more assets into it. So just find the company that has the kind of asset that you want to invest in. If it's cryptocurrency or stocks or shares in a company. You can even put like a land or a business in your 401 in your IRA, self-directed IRA. The company keeps armies up to date on notable happenings. I only invest on variety based on my age. That's also another thing that you need to consider. And also the growth. I mean, I have dividend stocks, meaning I stock stocks on companies that give dividends but don't grow as fast, like Coca-Cola. It doesn't grow very fast, but it gives dividends. Um, Lumens gives dividends. Pfizer gives dividends. They don't really grow fast, but in fact, like for Pfizer, when I bought it for 20. I bought it for 28, I think. And sometimes it would go 26, 25. I'm not really worried because I've already gotten my investment back because I've already gotten my dividends. I do not think I will be able to retire ever, neither, but I can dream. I want to invest to get revenue, not to sell. To get revenue, not to sell. So dividend stocks, if you want to get revenue. Dividend stocks. HYBE will eventually get around to suing these fake army channels. They will. I hear people investing in Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? I thought it was a fake money. Okay, Don. I don't think a lot of people are interested in Bitcoin here. I can discuss it with you. Maybe I'll just post the video on Patreon and you can watch it there because some people here actually don't like cryptocurrencies. So, um, I was lucky to get in Vanguard and Doge and Cox way back. But yeah, my dividends automatically go back unless I change it. I've learned to ignore those clickbait headlines, but the one with JK, still with BTS. um, okay, so I will post a video on Bitcoin. I'm sure not many are interested in it. A lot of people actually hate it. They hate cryptocurrency. So, and a lot of people are so triggered by it. So I try not to talk about it unless like you're super, like you're interested in it. So I'll just post the video. BTS for forever seven. So I'll post the video separate, or maybe I even do like a live separate, and just talk about that. Um, yeah, I just don't know what it is. You don't know what Bitcoin is? It's a digital currency. That's what it is. It's a digital currency. Just like money, Bitcoin is a digital currency. The difference is that money is guaranteed by the government. Bitcoin is not guaranteed by the government. It's really complicated. But I will post the video. Um, and then I will post it, and then you can just watch it. I will, and maybe I'll do like a live separate, just talking about money. If you're interested, that I think that's good. Like I'll do another live, and it's just going to be exclusively about how I invest, where I put my money. I know a lot of people are very curious, like, how do I invest? Where I put my, how do I budget? And I've told you before, I really am very, very frugal. If you go into my house, you will think that it's a model house or something because it's almost empty. The only thing, well, of course, I have my necessities, right? But I have very limited things because I don't really like spending on things. Like, I have 5 pairs of shoes, and I don't intend to buy one more until one of them quits on me. So, um, be careful of bots. I know I encounter a lot of them, so I'm going to have one of the moderators go through them just to make sure that nothing gets through. Okay, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Thank you so much, people. I will make good with my promise. I'll post a video, and I will do a live exclusively on investing in money. And then whoever wants to come on, you can come on. You can ask me things. But because I posted a topic and it's NFTs and investments aren't one of them, I don't want to upset people who get triggered about cryptocurrency and stuff like that. So I'll do that another time. So, but for now, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. I hope to see you again. My next live will be Wednesday, and then maybe I'll do one live just for my Patreon subscribers. So I think I'll just do 2 lives a week unless there's something like really important or something breaking or something great. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Send me questions. Send me questions on Patreon. Send me questions on Twitter so that I know what kind of topics you guys want me to talk about. But thank you. I appreciate you all. Bye. Bye bye.